One of the reasons I believe I like gardening so much is it gives me that turn of the century vibe. You know, like I'm back in the old days or something. Which I like a lot of things like that. Like, hey, what's better than having the laundry out, waving in the breeze, waiting on the crop to come up, or hanging out with your two best friends? How you doing, Harper? How you doing, buddy? Y'all guarding the garden? Well, there's not much to guard yet, but hopefully there will be soon. Well, I've got all the rows plowed out, as you can see behind me. And I'm getting ready to drag out some of that extra grass and trash that I've kind of churned up. It's kind of a necessary thing to do, or you're going to end up with a lot more weeds, so I'm going to get at that. Now, I usually use a hoe for this because it does tend to fit right down in between the rows and pull some of that grass real nicely. Hopefully you can see. Got to get the camera set up for you a little bit. And here's a piece of that shale that I was talking about in the first episode. I get a lot of that. You don't want that in there. But just kind of go through here easy. And takes a little bit of time, but it is very well worth it and helps you out in the long run for sure. I'm going to go into warp speed and get this thing done. See, the rows are so much cleaner now than they were before I started. That's going to be helpful. Just it keeps the weeds down, like I said before. Now, since it's getting a little windy, as you can probably hear on my microphone, and as you can see behind me, pretty cloudy. I'm going to try to get as much of this done today as possible before the rain sets in, either tonight or tomorrow. Here we go. Trying to do here as I finish up these last couple rows is I'm going through and hitting the in-between spots, as I call them. So that's the part that hasn't really been broken up yet. So hopefully this will help you kind of see what I'm doing a little bit. I don't want any stiff ridges to be up in there. They don't need to be there, or giving you a surprise later. I tell you, the soil is looking a lot better just from a year condition than I thought it would, which is pretty encouraging. Yeah. Time's gonna tell. This is the area where I'm gonna be growing watermelons and watermelon and all of the other melons, golden melons. Anyway, I'm never good with remembering words, as you'll probably find out. But I usually remember what to do, so as long as I can do that, I guess that's the important thing. But, got one more row to go here. Then I'm probably going to rake all this trash out again, which I won't show that because that's just kind of repetitive. But the applying might seem a little repetitive, but I am doing something a little bit different. Whether you can always see it or not, but I'm doing every step of the way, just so I won't miss anything. And if you got any questions, you'll know more what to ask later on. And I'm always glad to answer questions. You can just put them in the comments. Anyway, we're almost there. I'm gonna roll back up that way so I can do a little more. All right. So I'm almost through with the plowing. I've got to give credit where credit is due to my sidekick, my compadre, my buddy, my pal, and recipient of an absolutely shameless plug, my Greenworks 11-inch tilling width premium 8.5 amp cultivator. This thing is great. It plugs in right into my house. No need for gas. You need to get that wonderful smell all over your hands that I grew up having that all over me all the time since I practically grew up in a service station. It does a great job. It's very economical. I believe I paid $139 for it on Amazon a couple of years ago. I've never seen a patch of dirt this thing couldn't eat through in a heartbeat. It has way more power than I ever would have figured anything being run electrical would have. I would figure it would hang up, but it does not hang up. Not on shale, not on anything. This yard originally was just nothing but old country Texas shale. Had some, the grass squares laid out on it. And one of these, as a friend used to call them, brickyards. You can see all these homes around me. This thing is great, and I couldn't recommend it any more than I do. Now here's an interesting little find from last year. It's some cilantro, basically growing wild in my yard, sort of. But what I actually did was I found it at the edge of my garden where I actually did plant some from seed last year. It grew somewhat, but it didn't do very good. But funny thing was, I came out here to start the garden and it was literally everywhere around the edge of the garden. There's some right there. It's great in lots of Tex-Mex. I took a little bit out here and put it in the pot over there to hope it'll take root. I can just have that right outside the door. That'll be cool. It won't take up any garden room. It's one of those things one of my art teachers in college used to call a happy accident. As I was hoping for, we got some rain not too long after I plowed, and it's soaked up pretty doggone good out here. The ground is considerably darker, and quite a few little weeds have already popped up that quickly. That tells me that the ground is gonna do a really good job whether I add much to it or not. I'm not sure how these things grow so fast, but somehow they manage. But I'm gonna plow all that out of there. But I like to pull them out when I can. It's just kind of my way of getting a little aggression against them. Get you out here by the root. Well, we got a nice steady rain going. We got all the work done. Got all the plowing done. Ground's ready. I may have to go back over it a little bit next week, just to kind of get some of those weeds that popped up after so much rain we've had. But the more rain we get, it definitely can't hurt. So we should be planning next weekend, possibly the weekend after that at the latest. I'm kind of pushing for next weekend. I think we need that extra little week because I think it might be a pretty hot summer. It's looking good so far, and I hope to see you here every week. I'll hope to be here every week, at least I'm planning on it. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, so you'll know when I'm showing up every week, so you can watch me and I can watch me, because I like me. Hope you do too. Anyway, keep watching and we'll see how everything turns out. And that's about it. I'm going to sit out here and enjoy listening to this thunder roll and the rain hit out there on the ground, and just kind of enjoy myself a little bit. I'll see you next week. Gardening with Ron, almost live from North Texas.